The Democrats are getting body slammed again by their voters. Only a measly 23% could muster up anything nice to say about their own party. Me, I call it what it is, a 5-alarm dumpster fire. But hold on, it's about to get messier because some libs think pushing socialism is going to win them back the crowd. Liz Warren recently had a powwow with Zohran the commie.
Is this what the party should look like?
Yes. You bet. The Democratic Party needs to stand up and be clear. We are the party that fights for affordability for working families. That means child care, that means housing, it means health care. It means making this country work better for the working people who make this country work.
All right, last question.
I get a little excited about this.
Well, I got a little excited about this. 47 couldn't resist taking a shot at Pocahontas.
I watched this lunatic, Pocahontas. She's a total lunatic. I don't know what she's on. She's all jumping up and down like I've never seen anything like it, talking about supporting the communist mayor. And he's not a socialist. He's a communist, okay? This is not a socialist mayor. This is a communist. If you look at any of his policies and go back 6 months, you don't even have to go back further than that. So they want to put a communist in New York. Now, the good news is we have a lot of power over that because we're the ones with the money. We send the money. We don't send the money.
Harold, I'm going to go to you first because I consider you a traditional middle-of-the-road Democrat. You call it like it is. Is the party changing to the socialism or communism? Is it becoming a bigger sect or is it just still smaller?
So it's a good question. And, you know, the Democrats, I live in New York City, nominated, I didn't nominate, but nominated a guy who was an avowed socialist to be the Democratic nominee. So there's an argument that you can make a credible argument that the party, at least in the biggest city in the country and the most important city in the world, has done that. But it's interesting. If you look at Democratic leaders across the city, Mr. Mamdani can't muster a lot of endorsements. So he had to bring in a senator from Massachusetts, from Boston, to emphatically and emotionally say why she's for him. I think Democrats in the city, the jury's still out, proverbially. I think as we get towards Labor Day, and I think Eric Adams and Andrew Cuomo have to make a decision who's the strongest candidate. I think both of them in the race probably neither of them are able to defeat Mr. Mamdani if that's the case. You know, I said a few weeks ago, the guy, Mr. Mamdani, won the nomination. I wanted to hear some of his ideas. I've not been impressed by the ideas. When you talk about police efforts in our city and public safety efforts.
Which is down significantly.
Right, but no doubt about it. But when you have a killing, you have a few people killed at a building here in Midtown, and you can't say, hey, I made a mistake. I had some passion. I was behind me as I talked about certain things, and I've changed my mind. We should keep these elite units. We're not going to defund the police. In fact, I'm going to keep young Miss Tish as my police chief because we have to keep our city safe. Then to bring in Ms. Warren, I don't hear any answers from him. Tyrus, I don't hear anything about where are the best practices in the country on education. Dana and I talk about this a lot. You talk about the state of Mississippi has done some amazing things in early childhood and K through 12 education. Why not talk about adopting that? Where are we doing great things fighting crime as opposed to defunding the police? This is what Democrats, the socialist wing of our party, have to get to. I'm not there. I'm not a socialist. I am right in the middle, and I always try to offer answers. The only answer I hear them saying is take, and give. This is America. We want to give people, empower people, give people an education and an opportunity, empower people with that, then let people flourish as Americans. That's not what this message is, and that's what scares me about his candidacy.
Jesse, you're an extremely popular person. At any time in your life, do you think you ever were around 23% popular with your peers?
With my peers?
Yeah.
There was a time.
23%? Yeah, maybe when I was like 22 years old. It's not a great semester.
Right.
But I bounced back.
You did bounce because you were in the high 90s now.
Right. Now I'm in the high 90s and I'm living the dream. But when Liz talks about affordability, you got to look at what this country used to be. For most of the last century, a dad could have one job, could have a house, his wife could take care of the kids at home. And then we sent all the jobs overseas right at the same time all the wives started joining the workforce. And then we started spending gazillion dollars and bailing things out and going to war. And then we wondered why everything became so expensive. Childcare is really expensive because everybody wants to send their kids to childcare because both parents are working. So the demand is through the roof. That's why it's expensive, because wages have flattened out, but demand for childcare has gone bonkers. So the solution is not a new government program. Dana, this is where you hold my hand.
I am really hesitant about this one, but let's go.
Why should I, or anyone at this table, pay to raise another person's child? Why should we pay to raise another kid who's 3 years old? Shouldn't the mother raise that child in those formative years, or the father figure it out? I know it's very expensive, but that doesn't mean you just have to take from other people. And do you really want the government to raise your child? The government just lost 300,000 children. You want a government-run daycare after they just lost 300,000 children? And talk about the quality of the people they're going to be working at the government-run daycare. This is not the best and brightest. So this is not what we want. Hillary Clinton says it takes a village. Okay, well, what about the grandparents or the parents? What about the college girls who are home for the summer that can help out around the house? What about the neighbor? What about maybe you leave Manhattan because it's too expensive to pay for childcare here?
We shall overcome.
We shall overcome.
You know, Emily, what's funny is I was afraid to ask him about the Native American and African American thing, and I should have just went there. But
that would have been worse.
Yeah, it probably would have been worse. Me and Harold probably would have left. Emily, why is it that someone like Rachel Dolezal, who pretended to was completely canceled off the planet, was considered one of the worst human beings, and both of these individuals pretended to be, in his case, African American, in her case, Native American, to take opportunities away from African Americans and Native Americans to get jobs and opportunities? How is that why are they even allowed to run for things knowing they did one of the most racist things you could do to somebody?
Somehow they slid through the cancellation machine of the left to continue worming their way into these elected official positions. Look, as a New Yorker, I find it just sort of surprising, and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth that Liz Warren is coming in here and sort of nationalizing the mayoral race. She obviously doesn't understand economics or anything about New York City, but from where I sit, we've lost 1 million people, and that's just from the consensus in 2020, and from April 2020, we lost 1 million people, we lost a congressional seat, and you know how much money we lost as a state? We lost $14.1 billion in just 1 year, from 2021 to 2022. So when she says, oh yeah, just tax the rich, as if that's gonna pay for everything, when that slim margin of wealthy people here who have borne the brunt totally disproportionately for taxes are fleeing yet again, the businesses have fled Midtown. When you come to visit our studios, you see in Midtown how many empty windows there still are, how many mom and pop shops and small restaurants and single owner occupant businesses are no longer.
And bars, great bars.
Most important.
Closing at 10.
There you go.
In New York.
So what's going to bear the brunt are those lower income people Mamdani claims to represent. Those are the ones that are going to be stuck here paying for his communism.
Dana, it's hilarious to me when a millionaire, 100 millionaire, says things like, quote, are you worried that billionaires are going hungry? That was one of Warren's comments. But she's going all in for him, but I'm noticing a lot of Democrats are kind of pumping their brakes a little bit, like Hochul, Jeffries, Schumer, Gillibrand. They're all trading. Cory Booker basically said, I'm busy. I got stuff going on in New Jersey. Do you think that's a positive sign?
Okay, I think this is what the sign is. The sign is she wants to back a winner, and she also likes to draft off of other people's popularity. So she's been persona non grata for a while, right? Nobody was asking her to come do any events in 2024 at on the campaign trail. So now Kamala Harris is out of the picture, thinks, okay, I'm back in. But the big problem is that Democrats' base is hugely animated by small dollar donations and this left-wing dark money big donations and the social media echo chamber that makes them go so far to the left. In 2020, the Democrats raised their hand for decriminalizing illegal immigration, free health care for illegals, trans surgeries, and more. And then Biden gets in there, and the first chief of staff, Ron Klain, says, let's throw in with the progressives. And they pushed the country so far left. So, of course, the rebound is President Trump. And now they're having to pay for it. And we're all going to have to pay for it. But also, I think it was very frustrating to listen to her say that is that she says, as a Democrat, we're the party that cares about the people. We're the ones that are going to provide the health care. And we're the what evidence is there that they did any of that?
None.
They didn't. And especially on K through 12 education, they have a big problem. However, I'll end with this. If Mamdani wins in New York, but Abigail Spanberger wins the governorship in Virginia, that's two very different Democrats. And who will have the big mo? It won't be Spanberger.
Or Mikey Sherrill in New Jersey, too.
And either way, the bars, Jesse, still suffer. The bars, Jesse.
I know.
Up next, the libs are putting America last. A Democrat is professing her loyalty to a foreign country.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.